Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Between Two Earnings Calls with Mr. Investor Relations. I'm your host, 𝗕𝗏𝘃𝗀𝗏. And in this video, we're going to give our third quarter of 2025 IR job market update. So let's start with our dashboard. And from a quarter perspective, we expect to see 30 to 42 number one IR job opportunities, 3 to 8 calls, and then a conversion of 10 to 19%. And where we fall in actual results for the third quarter was mixed. We had 48 opportunities, which is above the range, so it was strong from an opportunity set. But then in terms of follow-through is where we saw a lot of weakness. Number of calls were at the low end of the range, and our conversion rate was really anemic. We were only at about 6% conversion rate for the quarter. And so that's where you're seeing this mixed, but we're seeing a positive momentum in the market when you look at the third quarter relative to historicals, as you see through the data we walk through. So again, this is from September. It's tough. We had a great month in September of 16.7% on conversion, but in terms of the second half, we're only tracking to about 6%, which is 2 standard deviations below the mean. We'd like to see that higher. Here, again, we're looking at this from a quarterly basis. Again, at 6.3%, we're doing better than the weakness in the first quarter of 25, but we're still below that weakness in the third quarter of 23. And year to date, our conversion is about 8%, still below that third quarter of 23 low point. We saw this in our September deck. And again, you saw some increase in September, which we hope was driven by rate cuts and will continue into the rest of this year and next year, but we're uncertain. Now let's look at opportunities. And this is where the data is really compelling. On a year over year basis, we were up 8%, and on the 2-year stack, we were up 21%. And the beauty here is we seem to be peaking in the third quarter of 25. We were at 67 in 23, 75 in 24, and now 81 today, which is interesting given a lot of the macro uncertainty that we're seeing an all-time high in opportunities based on this historical data. Now, when we look at this on the quarterly basis, again, third quarter was off the charts practically in terms of number of opportunities at 81 relative to 53 in the second quarter and 53 in the first quarter, and well above that third quarter number of 75. So this is suggesting that there is some strength in the market, especially at the low end of the market. Now, when we look at number one IR opportunities, this was a positive as well, despite the weakness in the July and August months. We were up 20% year over year, and we were up 7% on the 2-year stack. And what's interesting is, again, we're seeing the market showing momentum and that we're at a 3-year high in the third quarter of 25. So, the IR market rebounded in the third quarter. We were up from 35 in the second quarter, and we've set a new high in terms of number of opportunities in the market for number one IR jobs in a given quarter. Now let's look at our conversion data. Again, we weren't that great on conversions here in the third quarter, which is tough. We walked through this data. We're 6.3%, again, 8% year-to-date conversion. That's still below that low to single digit or low to single mid-teens number of conversion that tells us it's a healthy market. So we think there's still some choppiness due to the macro. And then in the appendix, again, 6% conversion is not very good here in the second quarter. We hope that improves. And as a sign that we might get some improvement in the back half of the year as we're seeing momentum and opportunities. And then we're at 606 jobs tracked, and that's 27% of the New York Stock Exchange listed companies and 18% of the NASDAQ listed companies. A lot of jobs. It's a good data set. We're seeing some interesting trends. And if you have questions, please reach out. We would love to connect with you. Thanks for watching.